let's get into it. On March 1969, the body of Sharon Tate was found in her Los Angeles home by a friend after she returned from a day of shopping. She had been 8 months pregnant with her first child by her husband, the then famous Roman Polanski, who was also expecting an Academy Award for his latest film. The police arrived at the scene and found not only Sharon, but 4 other victims in the house. All 5 had been brutally murdered. After investigating, they found out that the main suspect was a member of the Manson family, a cult-like group of people led by one Charles Manson. It's well known that these horrible murders sent shockwaves through Hollywood. But what isn't as well known is that almost 50 years later, we still don't know exactly what happened that night, or even if we got the right people. Let me start by saying that there are so many theories about what really happened that night, but none of them are confirmed. So just bear that in mind while I try to piece together the most likely timeline of events. So like I said before, Sharon Tate was 8 months pregnant at the time of her murder. This would make her baby the child of 2 very famous people. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. On the night of her death, she was at home alone. Her husband was away, but he was expecting her to be home soon. According to reports, around 8:30 p.m., she was expecting a delivery of Chinese food, but instead, the delivery man knocked on the door and was confronted by 3 masked intruders. One of the men was wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, and the others were wearing white robes. They told him to leave and not come back. And as he left, he saw a girl walk past the window carrying a candle. That girl was 18-year-old Jay Sebring, who was Sharon's personal hairstylist. He tried to come to her aid, but he was beaten unconscious with the butt of a gun. We don't know exactly what happened next, but it is believed that the men went inside the house and began searching for Sharon and Jay. One theory suggests that they tortured them mentally by making them watch as they killed their friends, Abigail Folger and her friend, Wojciech Frykowski. After this, it's believed that the men went into Sharon's bedroom and attacked her. She managed to escape through a window, but was then chased down and brought back inside. The final victim, Steve Parent, was arriving late to dinner with Sharon's mother, but he was stopped in his tracks when he was shot in front of her eyes. Then the men finally caught up with Sharon and her unborn baby in the living room. It's reported that one of the men, Tex Watson, kneeled beside her and said, "Miss Tate, I want to tell you that you're beautiful," before stabbing her 16 times. So why did they do it? Well, allegedly, it was all part of Charles Manson's plan to start a race war. He wanted to instill fear in the hearts of the rich and powerful, and what better way than to slaughter a pregnant woman in front of her husband SIs? But there are a lot of unanswered questions here. Like, where were the men at the time of the murders? Why did they let Sharon escape through the window if they intended to kill her anyway? And how did they get inside the house? Now, of course, there are answers to these questions, but those answers have been heavily debated over the years, and no one can agree on whether or not they are true. What we do know is that Tex Watson confessed to the crime and was sentenced to death. However, he has always maintained that he was innocent. Susan Atkins, another member of the Manson family, also confessed and even gave details about the murder that hadn't yet been released to the public. But she later recanted her confession and took it to her grave. There are a lot more theories surrounding the case, including one that claims that Roman Polanski ordered the hit on his wife because she was going to leave him. But as I said before, none of this is confirmed. Now, over the years, there have been lots of documentaries made about the case, but none of them have been able to prove anything substantial. As far as we're concerned, the case remains open. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.